Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TradeXchange Week Ahead webinar. It is Saturday, September 30th. We're going to take a quick look at your upcoming week starting October 2nd. But first, let's take a recap of last week that ended the month and the quarter. During the month, the NASDAQ dropped 5.81%, the Dow down 3.5%, and the S&P fell 4.87%. During the quarter, the Dow ended lower 2.62%, the NASDAQ down 4.12%, and the S&P down 3.65%. We also are going to take a quick peek at your year-to-dates. The NASDAQ still strong on the year, up 26.3%. The S&P up 11.68%, and the Dow up 1.09%. The Russell 2K up 1.35%, and the S&P Mid Cap 400 up 2.95%. Looking over in Europe, the DAX is up 10.5%. The FTSE is up 2.1%. The CAC up 10.3%, and the IBEX up 14.5%. Over in Asia, the Nikkei up 22.1%, the Hang Seng down 9.9%, Shanghai up about 1%, and the Kospi up 10.2%. Markets did end the month and the quarter in the red, which is not a common occurrence as of late. But what else can you expect when you're looking at the recent strength of the US dollar, oil prices trending to $100, rates reaching levels not seen in 10 to 15 years, UAW strike, the possibility of a government shutdown? It is expected that with all those headlines that we could see some market volatility and weakness. The yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury note peaked above 4.6% on Wednesday. One aspect that we wanted to mention to all our members that really hasn't been an issue for the U.S. markets in the past, but seeing headlines out of Europe and out of Asia, we're starting to see those headlines beginning to impact U.S. markets more and more. Yeah, I believe it's time to take more attention towards the European economy and the Asia economy moving forward and the impact it's having on U.S. markets. Last week, the U.S. consumer confidence dipped to 103 in September, a reading that was below expectations and down from the previous month. The core PCE index, which is watched very closely by the Fed, increased 3.9% from year-ago levels. It is the lowest inflation rate in about 2 years, but still way below the central bank's 2% target. Continued headlines on the UAW strike. We heard some more on Friday with additional areas that the unions will be striking at, which are starting to slowly impact some markets. On the other hand, the writers' strike did end on Wednesday. So the media aspect, we did see a little run on some of those names throughout the week to end the week following that strike end. And we all await a government shutdown. Economists believe that a shutdown does occur, we could see it up to happening about 2 to 3 weeks of continued back and forth until a resolution is made. On the Bitcoin side, traders, keep in mind, depending on this government shutdown, we were expecting to have an answer on this SEC decision for the Bitcoin ETFs by mid-October. But keep in mind, if the government is shut down, that decision will be pushed due to the fact that the SEC as well, a majority will be shut down on that aspect. So expect a delay on that announcement if we are seeing a government shutdown. This coming week, all eyes will be on the jobs number on Friday, expecting to see if the Fed finally gets their feel in their way in regards to seeing some sort of weakness on the job market side, which clearly we have not been seeing at all as of late. On the commodity side, we'll get a better look when we go into the report, but we did see strength in orange juice, cotton, lumber, and natural gas. We saw weakness in cocoa, gold, gasoline, silver, and wheat. We also have another busy week with over 13 scheduled Fed speakers. Keep in mind, this is just a scheduled aspect. These do not include any media interviews or any other type that go on throughout the week. We have some very important economic reports, which we'll go through throughout the report, ending with the employment report on Friday. Now taking a peek at your week ahead report. Top earnings for the week. Slowly, we are at the end of earnings season, and slowly we'll be coming to the beginning of the next earnings season. But right now, not much on the earnings side on the agenda. Now your week ahead. As you can see, it is a pretty busy week coming. Monday, economic-wise, you got PMI, ISM manufacturing, construction spending. Fed speak, we have Powell, Barr, Williams, and Mester. We have some European headlines we're going to keep an eye on. We have the RBA announcement, and the Taiwan president visits the U.S. Tuesday, we have your JOLTS numbers, Fed speak Bostich, and we have the total vehicle sales. On Wednesday, we have your ADP employment report, PMI composite, factory orders, and the ISM services. Fed speak, we have Bowman and Goolsbee, and we have some more European headlines. On Thursday, we have the Challenger job cuts, jobless claims, international trading goods, and overseas reports. Friday, the all-important employment report, and we have consumer credit. We also have the Manheim Used Vehicle Index to get an idea on how the used vehicle market is performing. And we have some overseas headlines. Your company events for the week, as always, shareholder meetings and analyst calls. All these will be updated throughout the week. Members, just keep an eye on your morning and the daily analytic aspect to see any additional updates regarding your company events for the week. Your conferences, as always, members, if you have a question or a concern about who's reporting this, shoot us a message via Ask the Desk or an email. We can break that down for you as well. Economic calendar, we mentioned earlier, a full list of important econ reports, as well as a lot of red members here on Fed Speak coming this week. Stay tuned for another interesting week across the board. International economic calendar, your Fed schedule breakdown, your week ahead, some commentary, a breakdown of all Fed speakers, timing, and what the speech is about. Earnings for the week, a brief breakdown of your current month, quarter, and year to date. Weekly sector performance. Remember, we saw a lot of weakness. Look at this weakness in the utilities for the week, down over 6%. Strength basically in energy and very little in materials. A chart on your indices comparisons. Your AAII investor sentiment survey. Another little downtick on the bullish mindset and a big uptick on your bearish mindset. Keep in mind, members, this is always updated on Wednesdays, so this does not include the past few days of action in markets. We'll see how this turns up going into next week. Year-to-date percent returns, members, a quick breakdown on this. Just going through some of the top ones. Orange juice up over 70% year-to-date. To all those OJ drinkers, love to get some feedback on the prices on that one. Sugar up 32%, cocoa up 31%. NASDAQ still up 26% year-to-date, members. That's a pretty fine number. No matter the volatility, the NASDAQ is still staying strong. Crude oil up close to 13%, and S&P still up 12% for the year. Still a very good number. We did see a little bump in lumber this week, being down about 3% last week, now up 1.5%. On the weak side, nat gas continues to be, it's been one of the lowest ones all year long. Nat gas still down 35%. Wheat down 32%, corn down 30%, and your VIX down 20%. Fear and greed, the fear is taking over. As you can see, about a month ago, we were in a bullish fear and greed index for months and months and months. So we are watching this very closely. Going on, we are looking at a quick peek at your sector outlook weekly, members. You are seeing some activity The top three have been the top three since the beginning of the year: communication services, information tech, and consumer discretionary. Your FDA calendar for the week ahead, your IPO lockup expirations, and your expected IPOs for the week. Now, a quick look at some charts. We know you all love charts, and we'll watch some charts. We have gold. Members, as always, whenever we say no change, this chart has been like this for weeks on end. Whenever we add a support resistance line or a trend line, we do add it onto this right up front. Gold, no changes to the chart. This week, we saw pure selling. We broke through 4 support levels with volume at each break. Big moves lower. 1850s on watch to the downside. And the bulls need a reversal back above that 1900 on volume. We'll be watching this very closely. 1850s downside, 1900 resistance for a possible directional move on gold. But look at this, members. Once you're breaking supports, it's just straight down. So we'll see how that continues into this week. NASDAQ, no changes to the chart. This week, we tested a level of support at 13,000. That was a pure test of that 13,000 whole number. We always mentioned watching these whole numbers is very key. And that was a pure test of that number, bounced off of it, and ended at 13,219. We're going to be watching 13,000 at 13,500, then that gap upside move very closely. Very tight range for the NASDAQ, actually. So we're going to watch this close. A 13 break, members, you can easily see 12.5. I mean, 12,250 to 12,500 on your NASDAQ. So we're watching this very close. SPY daily on moving averages and trends, as well as your triple Qs, IWMs, and 10-year yield. Another look at 10-year yield daily, no changes to the chart. So we are looking at a 20-year weekly chart. We are at a level that hasn't been reached in 15 years. As this weekly chart shows, we are at a key level resistance. If that level is broken, easily see 5% up to 5.3%. We did reverse, though, members. If you look at it daily, we did reverse to end the week lower on a bearish tick, but we are watching to see what the market does around this range level on your 10-year yield. Diamond daily, moving average trend look, your Russell 2K. So last week we added a downtrend. On Friday, we broke the downtrend, but we did not end above it. We had a bearish reversal on the downtrend break. So this is the key now, because in our mindset, it becomes a neutral point. The Russell is trying to determine what it is going to do. Watching this upside, it did not fill that gap, so that gap is still there. Watching this thing, if we build a range here and see if a directional move happens once this range is built. HYG daily, moving average look, S&P 500, no changes to the chart. Last week, we focused on that long-term uptrend, and we mentioned how a break of that is a bearish look to the markets. That broke, and it hit 4,300 on that break. We mentioned that a break of 4,300 support, we could see weakness. What happened? We broke that level, hit a low of 4,238, a 62-point move. We ended the week right on support resistance, and we are building a range here now. We're seeing this. We mentioned last week that we're seeing weakness being built. Now we're seeing a range being built in a lot of these indices. Watching it closely to see if this continues to build, and then what move we see coming from that build. VIX, no reason to even discuss it for now. Oil, we extended the uptrend. We mentioned last week that this break of the uptrend is needed for the bearish mindset, a continued weakness, and we did not get that. We had a complete reversal, which extended the uptrend, and now we're watching it very closely. A test of a key level of 95 was done. It hit 95.03. So we're watching this resistance hit that level and did a complete reversal back to that previous resistance support level. We're watching this 90s, members, as a correction, as an uptrend break, and we're watching it closely if it happens on volume. Your US dollar, straight shot right along the uptrend. No changes to the chart. What can we say? Yet again, but technical analysis. Traded straight out ever since this downtrend. Traded straight up the uptrend, trying to test this 107 resistance, which is a very key level. A break above this, we could see 108, members, and then we have nothing much on the upside following those breaks. Watching it very close. Key resistance level at 107, and that downtrend is the uptrend is our look on a bearish mindset. Bitcoin, no changes to the chart. Our range, downside 25 to 26, upside 27.5 to 28,000. It's the same thing we said last week, and then Bitcoin continued to trade right in this range. So when it comes down to it, this range is key. Last time we traded here, we saw a quick drop, but a bounce. So we're watching this range closely for the next move in your Bitcoin. SMH daily, members, actually looks like a very nice chart with a possible downtrend break here, which is a bullish move possible to the upside. We're going to watch the SMH close in the coming week. Euro, the complete opposite of the US dollar, but still a beauty of a chart. Straight down on your downtrend. We're watching this closer because every time we saw a downtrend break, we did see an upside move. So we're going to watch this close to see if we do get that downtrend break and if markets trace the past and we see an upside move. Watching this close, watching the downtrend on the euro, watching the uptrend on the US dollar. Members, once again, that is your week ahead report. Very excited for the upcoming week. A very busy week, as we mentioned. Very, a lot of Fed speakers, a lot of key economic reports on each day this week. So we are excited and expecting to see some volatility. You have your UAW strike. You have the government shutdown. You have your rates. You have energy prices. You have overseas markets. The list just goes on and on. We're starting to see a little basing, as we mentioned, on the charts in markets, possibly taking a breather here after the recent weakness we've been seeing. So it's time to see what this week ahead does. Members, as always, we want to thank everyone for being a part of the Trade Exchange. We value all our members. We appreciate all the feedback we get, the good, the bad. We love it all because it makes us better. We appreciate all the positive feedback we had in regards to the Trade Exchange community room. We added, as we mentioned, our Trade Exchange technical view aspect with some great views and ideas the past week. We're very excited to continue to grow that aspect. We have a lot of changes coming, members. And as we always say to all our members, if you are a member now, if we ever decide to raise prices or change something, you will stay at your current rate no matter what is added moving forward to the Trade Exchange. Lock in that price, which you are locked in if you are a current member. Enjoy what we're trying to provide you. If you have any ideas on some additional aspects, let us know. We're always trying to add more information and services for our members. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Check the news desk over the weekend to get yourself ready for the open on Monday. And we'll see you on the Squawk first thing Monday morning for the pre-market prep. Thank you. Enjoy. Trade Exchange out.